Question 1. Negligence. Duty of care during comprehensive review of process that needs improvement. City government is evaluating its pedestrian safety measures. Particular intersection has had multiple accidents over the past 3 years due to poor visibility and inadequate lighting. Despite complaints from residents, the city failed to install additional street lights or crosswalk signals. One evening, pedestrian was struck by speeding vehicle walk the street, suffering severe injuries. The pedestrian sues the city for negligence. Under the doctrine of duty of care, which of the following factors would most strongly support the pedestrian's claim? A. The city had received multiple complaints about the hazardous intersection but failed to take reasonable action. B. The driver who struck the pedestrian was exceeding the speed limit and is primarily responsible. C. The pedestrian should have been more careful when crossing and should have anticipated the risk. D. Municipal governments are generally immune from liability for failing to improve public infrastructure. Answer A. The city had received multiple complaints about the hazardous intersection but failed to take reasonable action. Explanation. To establish negligence, the plaintiff must prove the 4 elements: 1. Duty of care, 2. Breach of duty, 3. Causation, and 4. Damages. In this case, the city had a duty to ensure reasonable safety for pedestrians. Under the public duty doctrine, government entities can be held liable when they fail to address known hazards that pose an unreasonable risk. Since the city received multiple complaints and did nothing, a strong argument can be made that it breached its duty of care. B. Incorrect. While the driver's speeding may be a contributing factor, it does not absolve the city of its own negligence. Courts often apply comparative negligence in such cases. C. Incorrect. Pedestrians' duty to exercise caution does not eliminate the city's responsibility for maintaining safe conditions. D. Incorrect. Government entities have sovereign immunity, but many jurisdictions allow liability in cases of known hazards where negligence can be proven. Question 2. Intentional torts. False imprisonment. While investigating inconsistencies across various units of department store, security officer notices customer behaving suspiciously near the electronics section. The officer, without clear evidence, stops the customer and insists they accompany him to back office for questioning. The customer repeatedly asks to leave, but the officer locks the door and keeps them there for 45 minutes without providing any justification. Later, security footage reveals that the customer did not steal anything. The customer sues the store for false imprisonment. Which legal principle best supports the customer's claim? A. The store's security had reasonable suspicion and was exercising its right to investigate. B. False imprisonment occurs when a person is confined against their will, without legal authority or justification. C. Businesses are allowed to detain individuals as long as the individual is released within reasonable time frame. D. The customer suffered no physical harm, so there is no basis for lawsuit. Answer B. False imprisonment occurs when a person is confined against their will without legal authority or justification. Explanation. False imprisonment occurs when 1. A person is intentionally confined, 2. Without consent, 3. Without legal authority or justification. The store security lacked legal authority to detain the customer for such an extended period without clear evidence of theft. A. Incorrect. While stores have shopkeepers' privilege, they must have probable cause and detain the suspect for reasonable duration. In this case, there was no valid reason to hold the customer. C. Incorrect. Reasonable time frame depends on justification, and since there was no theft, any detention was unlawful. D. Incorrect. Physical harm is not required for false imprisonment claim. Emotional distress and loss of liberty are sufficient grounds. Question 3. Strict liability. Product liability. In an environment where different components must interact seamlessly, major appliance manufacturer releases new line of smart refrigerators equipped with AI temperature control. Shortly after launch, multiple customers report that the AI software causes food to spoil prematurely due to unpredictable fluctuations in cooling. One customer, after consuming spoiled dairy products in a refrigerator, suffers severe food poisoning and incurs medical expenses. The customer sues the manufacturer under strict product liability theory. Which of the following factors would best establish the manufacturer's liability? A. The manufacturer failed to properly warn customers about potential software glitches that could lead to food spoilage. B. The customer should have noticed the fluctuating temperature and taken precautions. C. The refrigerator functioned as expected and software defects are not covered under strict liability. D. The manufacturer exercised reasonable care during production and should not be held liable. Answer: A. The manufacturer failed to properly warn customers about potential software glitches that could lead to food spoilage. Explanation: under strict product liability, a manufacturer is liable if a product is defective and causes harm, regardless of negligence. Three types of product defects can lead to liability. Manufacturing defect: an error in production makes product unsafe. Design defect: the product's inherent poses an unreasonable risk. Failure to warn: the manufacturer does not adequately inform users about risks. In this case, the manufacturer failed to warn customers about software defects that could lead to spoilage, making it failure to warn defect. B. Incorrect: the customer should not be expected to monitor the refrigerator's AI system constantly. C. Incorrect: software defects fall under product liability if they affect the function of the product. D. Incorrect: strict liability does not require proof of negligence, only that the defect existed and caused harm. Question 4. In a high-stakes environment where multiple challenges arise due to conflicting safety regulations and operational efficiency standards, a chemical plant experiences a catastrophic explosion. Investigations reveal that the plant management was aware of a minor leak in one of the high-pressure pipelines, but chose to defer maintenance due to cost concerns and production deadlines. The worker had previously reported the issue, but the report was dismissed. Non-urgent. The explosion caused severe injuries to several employees, damaged nearby properties, and resulted in the release of toxic substances into the surrounding community. The affected employees and residents filed lawsuits based on negligence and strict liability. Which of the following is the most accurate assessment of the plant's liability under tort law? A. The plant is only liable under negligence principles because strict liability does not apply to industrial accidents. B. The plant can be held liable under both negligence and strict liability because handling hazardous chemicals falls under ultra-hazardous activities. C. The plant can escape liability if it can prove that the explosion was caused by an unforeseeable external factor beyond its control. D. The workers cannot sue for negligence due to the exclusivity of workers' compensation laws, and only the residents can pursue claims. Answer: B. The plant can be held liable under both negligence and strict liability because handling hazardous chemicals falls under ultra-hazardous activities. Explanation: negligence liability. The plant's decision to defer maintenance despite knowing about hazardous leak constitutes breach of duty. Under the reasonable person standard, management had duty to take reasonable precautions, and failing to do so resulted in foreseeable harm. E. The explosion and injuries. Strict liability. The handling of toxic chemicals and high-pressure systems often falls under ultra-hazardous activities where liability applies even in the absence of fault. Restatement 2nd of Torts SS 519-520. Given the inherent risks, the plant can be held strictly liable. Workers' compensation exception. While workers' compensation laws typically prevent employees from suing for negligence, exceptions exist if the employer engages in intentional misconduct or gross negligence beyond ordinary workplace risks. Incorrect answers. A is incorrect because strict liability can apply to inherently dangerous activities, not just negligence. C is incorrect because an intervening cause must be unforeseeable. Here, the explosion was foreseeable result of deferred maintenance. D is incorrect because while workers' compensation limits negligence claims, it does not automatically bar all lawsuits, especially for gross negligence or intentional harm. Question 5. While managing a hybrid approach where timing issues affect legal obligations, a media company publishes an investigative report falsely accusing a public official of taking bribes. The report gains widespread attention, severely damaging the official's reputation and leading to his resignation. However, subsequent evidence proves that the allegations were entirely false. The official sues the media company for defamation. Which of the following legal standards will determine whether the official prevails in his lawsuit? A. The official must prove that the media company acted with actual malice, meaning they knew the statements were false or recklessly disregarded the truth. B. The official only needs to prove that the statements were false and damaged his reputation, regardless of the publisher's intent. C. The official cannot recover damages unless he shows that the false statements caused direct financial losses, such as lost salary or benefits. D. The media company absolutely protected under the First Amendment, and the official has no legal recourse. Answer: A. The official must prove that the media company acted with actual malice, meaning they knew the statements were false or recklessly disregarded the truth. Explanation: public figure standard. Under New York Times Company v. Sullivan, 1964, public officials must prove actual malice to succeed in a defamation claim. This means showing that the publisher either knew the statement was false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. Answers B is incorrect because private individuals only need to show negligence in publishing false statements, but public figures require proof of actual malice. C is incorrect because defamation includes harm to reputation, not just financial loss. D is incorrect because while the First Amendment protects speech, it does not shield knowingly false statements made with malice. Question 6. In a situation where resource allocation becomes a critical factor in medical malpractice liability, a hospital's emergency room faces overwhelming patient demand due to local disaster. Patient with severe internal bleeding is mistakenly categorized as non-emergency case due to triage error and is forced to wait several hours before receiving care. As a result, the patient suffers life-threatening complications. The patient sues the hospital and attending doctors for medical malpractice. Which of the following best describes the applicable legal standard? A. The hospital and doctors are liable if they fail to meet the accepted medical standard of care for emergency situations. B. The hospital and doctors are automatically immune from liability due to the disaster's extraordinary circumstances. C. The patient must prove that the hospital intentionally delayed treatment to reduce costs. D. The doctors are only liable if they personally examined the patient and made the incorrect triage decision. Answer A. The hospital and doctors are liable if they fail to meet the accepted medical standard of care for emergency situations. Explanation. Standard of care in emergencies. Medical professionals are held to the reasonable standard of care for their field even in high-pressure situations. A triage error that results in preventable harm can constitute negligence if it deviates from accepted emergency medical practices. Incorrect answers. Incorrect because emergency conditions do not automatically grant immunity unless statutory protections, e.g., Good Samaritan laws, apply. C is incorrect because negligence does not require proving intentional harm. D is incorrect because hospitals can be vicariously liable for systemic triage failures. Question 7. In a case involving evolving technology and privacy concerns, a popular mobile application uses facial recognition software to analyze users' photos without obtaining explicit consent. A group of users discovers that their biometric data has been stored and sold to third-party advertisers. They sue the company for invasion of privacy and violation of biometric data protection laws. Which legal doctrine best supports their claim? A. The users can argue that the company violated their right to control their personal information under the doctrine of informed consent. B. The company is protected under free speech rights because collecting and analyzing public photos is not an invasion of privacy. C. The users have no legal claim because they voluntarily uploaded their photos to the app. D. The company is only liable if it can be proven that the data caused direct financial harm to the users. Answer A. The users can argue that the company violated their right to control their personal information under the doctrine of informed consent. Explanation. Privacy rights and biometric data laws. Many jurisdictions have strict biometric privacy laws, such as the Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act (BIPA), which requires explicit consent before collecting or storing biometric data. Users have a reasonable expectation of privacy regarding their biometric identifiers. Incorrect answers. B is incorrect because free speech protections do not extend to unauthorized biometric data collection. C is incorrect because consent must be affirmative. Merely uploading a photo does not waive privacy rights. D is incorrect because privacy violations can be actionable even without financial loss. Question 8. In a workplace safety case involving foreseeability and assumption of risk, a construction worker is assigned to operate a defective crane despite raising concerns about its faulty brake system. The employer insists the crane is safe, but during operation, the brakes fail, causing a heavy load to drop and injure multiple workers. The injured workers file a lawsuit against the employer for negligence. How will the court likely rule on the employer's liability? A. The employer is liable because knowingly providing defective equipment breaches the duty of care owed to employees. B. The employer is not liable because the workers assumed the risk by choosing to operate the crane. C. The employer can only be held liable if the workers can prove that the crane's failure was due to intentional misconduct. D. The workers' lawsuit is barred because workplace injuries fall exclusively under workers' compensation laws. Answer A. The employer is liable because knowingly providing defective equipment breaches the duty of care owed to employees. Explanation: negligence in workplace safety. Employers have a duty to provide safe working conditions. Ignoring known safety defects violates social regulations and workplace safety laws. Providing faulty equipment constitutes negligence if it violates statutory safety standards. Incorrect answers. B is incorrect. Assumption of risk does not apply when employees are forced to work with defective equipment under employer directives. C is incorrect because negligence does not require intentional misconduct. D is incorrect because while workers' compensation laws generally bar negligence claims, exceptions exist for employer gross negligence or willful disregard for safety. Question 9. A pharmaceutical company releases a new over-the-counter pain medication without disclosing that high doses can cause liver damage. After widespread use, reports emerge linking the drug to severe liver failure. Several consumers file product liability lawsuits. Under which legal theory is the company most likely to be held liable? A. Strict liability for failing to warn consumers about known risks. B. Negligence only if the company intended to harm consumers. C. No liability because consumers used the product voluntarily. D. Liability applies only if the company violated FDA regulations. Answer: A. Strict liability for failing to warn consumers about known risks. Explanation: failure to warn, product liability. Manufacturers have a duty to warn consumers about foreseeable risks associated with their products. The failure to disclose material risks, especially known side effects, can lead to strict liability. Incorrect answers. B is incorrect because strict liability applies regardless of intent. C is incorrect. Voluntary use does not absolve manufacturers of liability. D is incorrect because liability exists independently of regulatory violations. Question 10. A self-driving car manufacturer is sued after one of its vehicles operating in autonomous mode runs a red light and crashes into another vehicle. Investigations reveal that the accident was caused by a software malfunction that failed to recognize the traffic signal. The injured driver sues the manufacturer under product liability law. Which legal standard applies? A. The manufacturer is strictly liable if the defect in the autonomous system made the vehicle unreasonably dangerous. B. The injured driver must prove that the manufacturer was negligent in designing the self-driving system. C. The manufacturer is not liable because the driver could have manually overridden the system. D. The manufacturer is only liable if it can be proven that a recall should have been issued before the crash. Answer: A. The manufacturer is strictly liable if the defect in the autonomous system made the vehicle unreasonably dangerous. Explanation: strict liability in defective products. Under strict product liability laws, manufacturers are responsible for defects that make a product unreasonably dangerous. The failure of the autonomous system to function correctly constitutes a design defect. Incorrect answers. B is incorrect because negligence is not required for strict liability. C is incorrect because the expectation of safety in self-driving cars shifts liability to a manufacturer. D is incorrect because liability exists even without a recall. Question 11. In a multi-location scenario where consistency requirements vary due to regulatory differences, a company faces challenges in standardizing its operational procedures. Some regions have stricter compliance laws, while others allow greater flexibility. What is the best strategy to balance standardization and local adaptability? A. Implement a single uniform policy across all locations and apply for exemptions where needed. B. Develop a core framework with region-specific adaptations to meet local regulations. C. Allow each location to create its own processes independently. D. Focus solely on the most stringent regulatory requirements to ensure full compliance. Answer: B. Develop a core framework with region-specific adaptations to meet local regulations. Explanation: a core framework ensures consistency while regional adaptations allow compliance with local laws. Incorrect answers. A is inefficient as exemptions can be time-consuming and costly. C creates fragmentation and lack of control. D can be overly restrictive and unnecessary in less regulated areas. Question 12. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted by a cyber attack, an organization must quickly decide how to allocate its resources to restore critical systems. What should be the top priority in response planning? A. Restoring all systems simultaneously to avoid further downtime. B. Focusing on customer-facing applications first to minimize public impact. C. Prioritizing core operational systems essential for business continuity. D. Conducting a full forensic investigation before making any system changes. Answer C. Prioritizing core operational systems essential for business continuity. Explanation: business continuity depends on restoring essential systems first. Incorrect answers: A is impractical due to resource constraints. B can neglect critical internal infrastructure. D delays urgent recovery efforts. Question 13. In a situation where formal requirements conflict with practical constraints, a manufacturing company must choose between meeting regulatory guidelines and optimizing efficiency. What approach should the company take? A. Follow regulations strictly even if it reduces efficiency. B. Identify compliant alternatives that balance both efficiency and legal requirements. C. Prioritize efficiency and address regulatory issues later. D. Focus on industry best practices instead of regulations. Answer: B. Identify compliant alternatives that balance both efficiency and legal requirements. Explanation: the best approach is compliance through optimized methods rather than compromising either efficiency or legal standards. Incorrect answers: A. May unnecessarily limit operations. C. Risks legal penalties. D. Does not ensure regulatory compliance. Question 14. When scaling up operations that experience significant inefficiencies, a logistics firm must determine the most effective strategy to improve workflow without causing delays. Which of the following is the best approach? A. Redesign the entire logistics model before continuing expansion. B. Identify bottlenecks and implement targeted improvements. C. Increase workforce size to compensate for inefficiencies. D. Focus solely on automation to reduce manual errors. Answer: B. Identify bottlenecks and implement targeted improvements. Explanation: addressing specific inefficiencies prevents widespread disruptions. Incorrect answers: A. May delay growth. C. Does not fix systemic issues. D. Overlooks non-automatable inefficiencies. Question 15. While managing a hybrid approach where timing issues affect coordination, a multinational project team struggles with scheduling across different time zones. What is the best solution? A. Use a single global time standard for all meetings. B. Rotate meeting times to accommodate different regions. C. Require all team members to adjust to a fixed headquarters-based schedule. D. Use asynchronous communication tools whenever possible. Answer: D. Use asynchronous communication tools whenever possible. Explanation: asynchronous tools allow flexibility without scheduling conflicts. Incorrect answers: A and C create unfair burdens. B. Only partially mitigate scheduling issues. Question 16. In a case where multiple parties have different objectives, a city government is negotiating a development project that businesses, residents, and environmental groups oppose for different reasons. What negotiation strategy should be used? A. Compromise by addressing only the most vocal groups' concerns. B. Develop multi-stakeholder solution that balances key concerns. C. Proceed without stakeholder input to avoid delays. D. Focus solely on economic benefits to justify the project. Answer: B. Develop a multi-stakeholder solution that balances key concerns. Explanation: a multi-stakeholder approach ensures long-term acceptance. Incorrect answers: A. Alienates other groups. C. Leads to backlash. D. Overlooks social and environmental concerns. Question 17. When implementing backup procedures across various departments, a department notices inconsistent compliance, how should they address this issue? A. Enforce strict penalties for non-compliance. B. Conduct regular training and audits. C. Assign compliance responsibility to department managers. D. Automate backup processes entirely. Answer: B. Conduct regular training and audits. Explanation: training and audits ensure consistency. Incorrect answers: A is too punitive. C may not ensure technical compliance. D is not always feasible. Question 18. During a major transformation where existing methods are deeply ingrained in company culture, resistance to change becomes a barrier. What is the most effective way to manage this transition? A. Implement changes immediately and enforce compliance. B. Engage employees early and provide gradual adaptation support. C. Focus on leadership directives without involving employees. D. Replace resistant employees to remove obstacles. Answer: B. Engage employees early and provide gradual adaptation support. Explanation: gradual adaptation ensures long-term buy-in. Incorrect answers: A and C. alienate employees. D. Creates workforce instability. Question 19. In an environment where different components must interact smoothly, a software company struggles with integrating new technologies with legacy systems. What is the best approach? A. Replace all legacy systems with modern solutions immediately. B. Develop middleware that bridges new and old systems. C. Continue using legacy systems without upgrades. D. Implement new systems in isolation before integrating. Answer: B. Develop middleware that bridges new and old systems. Explanation: middleware provides a gradual transition. Incorrect answers: A. Is costly and disruptive. C. Hinders innovation. D. Delays integration efforts. Question 20. While updating traditional approaches where interconnections exist between multiple teams, a company struggles with ensuring smooth communication. What is the most effective way to manage this challenge? A. Centralize decision-making to avoid miscommunication. B. Implement standardized collaboration tools and protocols. C. Reduce the number of teams involved to simplify coordination. D. Allow each team to communicate in its preferred way. Answer: B. Implement standardized collaboration tools and protocols. Explanation: standardized tools enhance clarity and efficiency. Incorrect answers: A. Slows decision-making. C. Limits expertise. D. Causes inconsistencies. Question 21. While analyzing the root causes of sequential problems in a supply chain, a manufacturing company notices recurring bottlenecks at different stages of production. What is the most effective way to identify and resolve the underlying issue? A. Increase workforce and resources to reduce delays. B. Conduct a root cause analysis to identify systemic inefficiencies. C. Focus on short-term solutions to meet immediate deadlines. D. Replace the current system with an entirely new operational model. Answer: B. Conduct a root cause analysis to identify systemic inefficiencies. Explanation: root cause analysis is essential for identifying systemic issues rather than just addressing surface level symptoms. Incorrect answers: A. Adds costs but may not address the actual cause. C. Leads to temporary relief without long-term improvement. D. Is disruptive and unnecessary without understanding the problem. Question 22. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted by a financial crisis, a corporation must decide which departments should receive budget protection and which can afford cuts. What is the best approach? A. Reduce funding evenly across all departments. B. Prioritize critical operations that sustain core business functions. C. Cut non-essential programs first without further analysis. D. Delay budget decisions until the crisis subsides. Answer: B. Prioritize critical operations that sustain core business functions. Explanation: prioritizing core business functions ensures the company remains operational. Incorrect answers: A. May harm vital areas equally as non-essential ones. C. Lacks strategic planning. D. Delays necessary action, worsening the crisis. Question 23. In a scenario where efficiency decreases across multiple locations, a retail company struggles with inconsistent inventory management. What is the best way to address this issue? A. Implement a uniform inventory system with real-time tracking. B. Allow each store to manage inventory independently. C. Reduce inventory levels to minimize losses. D. Focus only on improving high-performing locations. Answer: A. Implement a uniform inventory system with real-time tracking. Explanation: a standardized, real-time system improves visibility and prevents stock shortages or excess inventory. Incorrect answers: B. Causes discrepancies in stock levels. C. May hurt sales if demand is miscalculated. D. Neglects underperforming stores that may need improvement the most. Question 24. When developing a solution that must address opposing needs in a project, a software development team faces conflicting requirements from different stakeholders. What is the best way to proceed? A. Prioritize the needs of the most influential stakeholders. B. Identify common goals and develop a compromise solution. C. Follow a strict technical framework and disregard conflicting inputs. D. Delay the project until all conflicts are resolved. Answer: B. Identify common goals and develop a compromise solution. Explanation: finding common ground allows the project to move forward efficiently while addressing key concerns. Incorrect answers: A. Alienates other stakeholders. C. Ignores practical user needs. D. Creates unnecessary delays. Question 25. In an environment where different components must interact smoothly, a healthcare provider is integrating electronic health records AIs across multiple departments. What is the best strategy to ensure successful implementation? A. Train staff thoroughly and ensure cross-departmental collaboration. B. Implement the system without additional training to save time. C. Allow each department to customize its own AIR process. D. Phase in the new system gradually over several years. Answer: A. Train staff thoroughly and ensure cross-departmental collaboration. Explanation: training and collaboration prevent errors and resistance to adoption. Incorrect answers: B. Leads to misuse and errors. C. Creates data inconsistencies. D. Unnecessarily prolongs the transition. Question 26. During the introduction of new methods where coordination across teams is required, a multinational company must transition to a new workflow system. What is the best way to manage this change? A. Communicate the changes clearly and provide hands-on training. B. Implement changes immediately without prior notice. C. Allow each team to decide how they want to adopt the new system. D. Delay implementation to avoid initial disruptions. Answer: A. Communicate the changes clearly and provide hands-on training. Explanation: clear communication and training ensure a smooth transition with minimal confusion. Incorrect answers: B. Creates resistance. C. Leads to inconsistent adoption. D. Postpones progress. Question 27. When implementing backup procedures across various business units, a financial institution notices differences in compliance levels. What is the best corrective action? A. Conduct mandatory training and regular compliance audits. B. Penalize departments that fail to meet compliance standards. C. Allow departments to manage backups as they see fit. D. Reduce the complexity of backup requirements to increase compliance. Answer: A. Conduct mandatory training and regular compliance audits. Explanation: training and audits reinforce best practices and ensure compliance. Incorrect answers: B. Creates a punitive work culture. C. Leads to inconsistent safeguards. D. May compromise security. Question 28. In a high-stakes environment where multiple challenges arise simultaneously, a logistics company must balance delivery speed, cost efficiency, and customer satisfaction. What is the best way to optimize operations? A. Analyze performance data and adjust logistics accordingly. B. Focus solely on reducing costs to maintain profitability. C. Increase delivery speeds at all costs. D. Maintain current operations without making adjustments. Answer: A. Analyze performance data and adjust logistics accordingly. Explanation: data-driven decision-making ensures optimal balance between speed, cost, and customer expectations. Incorrect answers: B. May reduce service quality. C. Leads to higher operational costs. D. Ignores ongoing inefficiencies. Question 29. During a seamless transition where continuity must be maintained, and a department is upgrading core infrastructure without disrupting business operations, what is the best approach? A. Implement changes in phases to minimize risks. B. Shut down all systems temporarily to ensure a complete transition. C. Perform the upgrade during peak hours to test real-world performance. D. Use the old and new systems simultaneously indefinitely. Answer: A. Implement changes in phases to minimize risks. Explanation: a phased approach ensures that potential issues are identified and resolved gradually. Incorrect answers: B. Disrupts operations. C. Increases failure risks. D. Creates unnecessary complexity. Question 30. When improving a process that shows unexpected results, a pharmaceutical company notices inconsistencies in drug manufacturing quality. What is the best corrective measure? A. Conduct a thorough root cause analysis before making changes. B. Immediately adjust production settings without investigation. C. Reduce quality control checks to speed up production. D. Ignore minor inconsistencies and continue production. Answer: A. Conduct a thorough root cause analysis before making changes. Explanation: root cause analysis ensures corrections address the actual problem rather than symptoms. Incorrect answers: B. Is reactive and may create more issues. C. Compromises safety. D. Ignores potential risks.